I turned my phone off and went to bed. And so I turned the phone off. My grandsons woke up at 12:06. I woke up at 12:30 because everybody kept calling. And when I turned my phone on, my granddaughter called. And when I was talking to my granddaughter, Dolores, I call her Bobby Girl, and all of a sudden I heard an explosion. And I told my grandson, I said, God, did you hear that? I go, yeah. And the wind blew in my face. And like, wow, I said something exploded, but I thought it was outside. I didn't know it was inside my house. And as I was talking to my granddaughter, I said, well, let me call my daughter to tell her that, you know, that we're here. And so I called up my daughter, was talking to my daughter, and I told her that, you know, something happened. You know, there was an explosion. And I don't know where it's at. It was upstairs, and my whole house was flooded. And when I told my grandson, do you smell something? He says, yes. And I said, what do you smell? He said, I smell smoke. I said, I smell it too. And so the neighbors came, jumped my fence and was knocking on my door. And it was flooded. The whole house was flooded in water, all the way to the street, all the way to the house. And they said my house was on fire. I said, what? And they said, yes, my house is on fire. So I told my grandkid, we got to go. The house is on fire. We got to get out of here. And my grandson, Leonardo, I call him Tai-Tai. I go, Tai-Tai, let's go. The house is on fire. He said, no, I'm scared, Grandpa. I said, no, we got to go. The house is on fire. He said, I'm scared. His face turned pale white. And I picked him up, and we started going outside, and we came outside. And sure enough, the house was on fire. And what happened was, I called 911 for the Splendora, you know, fire department to come out because my house was on fire. I said, my house is on fire. I need you guys to come and, you know, turn the fire off. And they said, okay. So I was sitting there waiting, and my neighbors was outside, and we was looking at all the smoke coming from the round spinny things on top of the roof. All the smoke was coming out of there. And I told, my neighbor told me, he said, well, I called the fire department, they're not here. They said, I don't know who it was, but he was really a nice gentleman, a really nice man. He said, you want us to put the fire out? I go, well, yeah, if you can. I said, because, you know, I can't live in a burnt down house. If you put it out, you know, I can fix what's wrong with it. So my neighbor Curtis brought his water hose from his house, and we turned my water hose on. And one of the guys said, can we break the window? I go, yeah. So they broke the window. They said, it was too hot. We got to break the garage door down. Can we break it? Go ahead. I said, I didn't want to put the fire out. So one person had, I don't know what they call them, the rays for the hunting, the four-wheelers that they go hunting with. He had a hoist on there. And he said, well, we have to break the garage door off. I go ahead. So he wrapped it around and pulled it back and broke it out. And they started spraying, you know, water all into the garage. Everything got burned in the garage. I mean, it was unbelievable that everything was burned. And I told my daughter, I said, I'm sure glad this happened in the daytime, because if it would happen at night, I said, with my breathing machine on to get my air, I wouldn't be able to hurt that. And we probably would have died in the fire. And all the neighbors was out there, and they was helping, and we put the fire out. So after they put the fire out, I told my neighbors, I said, I'm going to tell you, thank you guys. I am very grateful that you guys did this. I said, I could fix the house, but I can't fix it if it's burned down. But I have a house because of you guys. I just want to tell you that I have a home, and I want to tell you thank you. And also, my neighbor across the street, you know, her name is Kylie and Jacob Lowe. And they're the neighbors across the street, and they found out that my house was on fire, and they found out that I got flooded, and the neighbor was telling me what happened, and they gave me a key to stay at their house. So I had a place to stay during the hurricane, because I was caught homeless with 2 grandkids and no place to go, and flooded in. You couldn't come in or out with a car, so I was stranded. So I stood there for like 3-4 days. They let me stay there till the fire, until the flood went down. And then when they came in, then I went to my daughter's house, Amanda. And they had like 4 or 5 females that came in the house. And as they was in the house, they said, what we need? I said, well, they're trying to scrape this floor up, but they can't, you know, scrape it up. It's too hard. I don't know if you could do it, but, you know, but they can't do it. And they said, oh, they went and got the tools, and they started singing to God. And they were singing songs, and as they were singing, the floor was coming up like nothing. And the workers spent 2 days trying to get the floor up, and only did a small patch. And these females from the church, the women's, they came and did it in 2 hours. They were done. It was unbelievable. He was amazed. He couldn't believe how did they do it. That he was a man and trying to remove the linoleum and the things off the cement, and he couldn't do it. And these females were singing to God, and they scraped up the whole floor like it was nothing. It was coming up like it was easy. And he couldn't understand how did they do it, and he didn't. I said, well, maybe because God was helping them while they were singing, he was pulling it apart for them. And he was, just unbelievable. He just couldn't believe it that they did it in 2 hours when he spent 2 days scraping the floor, and they came in 2 hours and did the whole house. They did the whole bedrooms, living room, dining room. They did everything, and that was a shock to him, and to me, I was a blessing because I was so grateful that the church came and helped. I told them thank you. I said I was very grateful and thank you because the work that they did, they saved. There was 18 people from the church came, and they picked up the whole yard up. They picked up all the wood. They stacked everything back, and they scraped the floor. They took all the stuff outside. So the stuff that we needed outside, they took out all the trash, everything. So I was very happy. So I want to tell the Jehovah's Witnesses that came out that God bless you, and I'm very grateful and thankful that you came out and helped.